Good afternoon and welcome to the 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of CITICOR Renewable Energy Corporation. If you look at the right side of your screen, there is a chat box. Please state therein if you can clearly hear and see us or if you are having any difficulties. Feel free to type in the chat box any comments or questions you may have. We will address these during the question and answer portion of this ASM. Now, we begin by acknowledging the presence of our Board of Directors and Corporate Secretary, Chairman Mr. Edgar B. Saavedra, Director, Chief Executive Officer, and President Mr. Oliver Y. Tan, Director Mr. Noel Louis B. Ferrer, Director and Chief Investor Relations, Corporate Communications and Branding Officer, Ms. Abigail Joan R. Cosico. May I now introduce CREC's independent directors, starting with Mr. Leonilo G. Coronel. Independent Director, Mr. Roy A. Simatu. Joining us online, Independent Director, Attorney Efiro Luis B. Amatong. We would also like to introduce CREC's Corporate Secretary, Attorney Danica C. Evangelista. We also acknowledge the presence of representatives from Isla Lipana & Co., CREC's external auditor. Let us start with a prayer followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
Dear Lord, we humble ourselves to you as we start our activity today. We praise you for giving us multiple opportunities to build a better future and ultimately create a greener and more sustainable country. Please continue to guide us as we harness your natural given resources, which will help us power our country as we empower our communities. May you give us the wisdom, the strength, and the heart to shine as champions of green energy. And help us remember that in all that we do to give back to our planet and the people that we serve. Amen.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiging sa silangalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Upang hinirang, kuyak ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisikin, sa ganatang putok sa simoy at sa langit ko bagaw, ay tinatang tulakaw, isang pagkayang minamahal, ang isang lang matawag ko'y tagumpay na nagkikinig, ang bituin at karoon niya kailan, ang ay matitinig, lupa ng araw ng warhatid pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang ibigaya na pagkay mga akin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Now, a word of welcome from our chairman in this brief video message.
Your company, CITICOR Renewable Energy Corporation, dared to dream differently in a landscape weighed down by skepticism toward pure renewables. We took a bold first step as first-generation entrepreneurs, armed only with the vision, our engineering DNA, and our belief in a greener energy secure tomorrow. The start of any journey is never easy. We face elevated cost of capital and components, intense competition, and market uncertainties, doubts on the viability of green energy. But we stayed true to course, armed with a roadmap for 5 gigawatts in 5 years. We navigated every challenge, braved the odds until we reached a tipping point, our initial public offering. The successful CREC 5.3 billion peso IPO, coupled with the strategic entry of SM Investment Corporation into Citycore Energy REIT, are fuel that now feeds our growing portfolio. We are ready, supercharged, to energize the first of 5 gigawatts in 2025 and brace for the next gigawatt of pipeline projects. With unwavering resolve and the wind of progress at our backs, we stand at the dawn of our future, a first world Philippines powered by pure renewable energy.
We call on Mr. Saavedra to formally begin our ASM.
Good afternoon. As Chairman of the Board, I hereby call to order this 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Citycore Renewable Energy Corporation. Thank you all for joining us today. Kindly refer to the agenda flash on your screen. I now call on our Corporate Secretary to certify that the notices were sent and that a quorum exists to conduct this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certify that the notice and agenda for this ASM were sent to the stockholders of record as of close of business day of May 19, 2025. To give you more details, the notice was immediately disclosed to the Philippine Stock Exchange, Inc. on April 4, 2025, upon its approval by the Board of Directors and released in the PSE EDGE as a circular. The notice and agenda, together with CREC's annual report and information statement, were then distributed to the stockholders on May 19, 2025. The information statement and CREC's website also contain instructions on how the stockholders may vote, submit their proxies, and participate in the ASM. All these were completed in compliance with the requirements of CREC's bylaws, the revised corporation code, and the issuances of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Chairman, I also certify that we have a quorum to conduct this meeting, given that the stockholders representing 75.19% of the outstanding capital stock of CREC, or 6,713,379,107 shares, are participating in person, in absentia, or by proxy herein.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Can you discuss the voting procedure for this meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting procedure for this annual stockholders meeting is as follows. 1. All the stockholders of record at the close of business on May 19, 2025 are entitled to the notice and to vote at this meeting. 2. The matters in the agenda shall be decided by a majority vote of the stockholders, except in cases where the law provides otherwise. The voting results shall be discussed with each agenda item. 3. The stockholders were given the opportunity to vote in absentia from May 19 until 11:59 p.m. of June 4, 2025 through an online voting portal prepared by CREC. Only the stockholders who were validated by CREC Stock Transfer Agent, Stock Transfer Services, Inc. were allowed to vote in absentia. The stockholders were also permitted to submit proxy forms until June 4, 2025 through electronic mail or personal service. Each of the votes cast in absentia and by proxy shall be considered cast for all the shares of such stockholder. And lastly, CREC Stock Transfer Agent tabulated the votes cast in absentia and by proxy, which were then confirmed by CREC's external auditor, Isla Lapana & Co.
Let us now proceed with the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on August 7, 2024. I understand that copies of such minutes have been distributed and posted in CREC's website.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I am Jed Espiritu, a proxy stockholder for Lelaine Rosales. I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on August 7, 2024, and move to approve the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I am Stephen C., proxy for CPI, and I second the motion.
There is a motion duly made and seconded that the minutes of the August 7, 2024 annual stockholders meeting be approved. Ms. Secretary, may we know the voting results on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, based on the votes cast, 100% of the stockholders present in person or by proxy are in favor of approving the motion.
Considering that all the votes were made for the approval of this agenda item, motion is approved.
We shall now go to the President's report.
"2024 proved the mettle of your company, Citycore Renewable Energy Corporation, as we gathered resources and laid foundations for our ambitious goal, 5 gigawatts of combined installed renewable energy capacity in 5 years. Our track record for greenfield development, driven by our innovation and engineering DNA, primes us for the renewable energy race ahead. As first-generation entrepreneurs, we turn to the capital market to fuel our dreams and aspirations as a pure renewable energy company. CREC braved market uncertainty, successfully conducting our initial public offering in the Philippine Stock Exchange, raising 5.3 billion pesos to serve as catalyst for the first gigawatt rollout. It attracted the UK government's Mobilis program, which invested $12.5 million, its maiden investment in the Philippines. With your support, our IPO was recognized by the likes of the Asset AAA Sustainable Finance Awards and the Alpha Southeast Awards. As of 2024's last trading day, our stock price stood at 3.21 pesos per share, an increase of 19% from our IPO price. Your company exhibited robust growth in its financial and operating results in 2024, with consolidated revenue surging 40% to 5.1 billion pesos. EBITDA also grew 16% to 1.8 billion pesos, while net income after tax grew 11% year-on-year, surpassing the 1 billion peso mark. Our electricity sales drove the strong increase in revenues, pushing ahead by 42% from the previous year. Because of the increase in new customers and higher generation output for our diversified portfolio of off-takers, combined generation output for CREC increased by 4% to 398 gigawatt hours, with skilled in-house plant O&M alongside consistent solar irrigation resources and capacity utilization factors in our plants. In line with our renewable energy expansion goals, your company similarly boosted its balance sheet, growing our cash position by a significant 247% to 8.3 billion pesos. Total assets jumped 115% to 47.9 billion pesos, while total equity grew 109% to 18 billion pesos. This strong growth was driven by our successful IPO and beefed up by other notable fundraising initiatives, including a 9 billion peso loan agreement with RCBC and SMIC's 5 billion peso investment in CREC shares. We take pride in our strong commitment to ESG and building purposeful partnerships with communities through the Citycore Foundation. Our groundbreaking agro-solar initiative enables dual use for our solar farms, generating energy alongside growing high-value crops that augment the livelihood of local farmers and support food security. We use a community approach for sustainability programs adapted to the needs of each locality, such as scholarships, back-to-school programs, skills training in partnership with TESDA, tree planting, and solar street light donations. As we continue to roll out the succeeding gigawatts in our 5 gigawatt in 5 years roadmap, we leverage our vertical integration to bring projects to a ready-to-build status for the next year. And likewise, ramp up our battery energy storage systems for pilot testing. We look forward to energizing our first of 5 gigawatts in 2025, and we are supercharged to lead the renewable energy transition in the Philippines. Our strides in 2024 has set our momentum, and we hope that you, our investors, stakeholders, and communities continue working with us to reach our vision of powering a first-world Philippines with pure renewable energy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let us proceed with the next agenda item.
The next agenda item is the ratification of all acts, resolution, and proceedings of the Board of Directors and management until June 9, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I am Jed Espiritu, proxy stockholder for Lalaine Rosales, and I move that all acts, resolutions, and the proceedings of the Board of Directors and management until June 9, 2025 be ratified.
Mr. Chairman, I am Stephen C., proxy for Stockholders CPI, and I second the motion.
There is a motion duly made and seconded for the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors and management. Ms. Secretary, may we know the voting results on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, based on the votes cast, 100% of the stockholders present in person or by proxy have approved this agenda item.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Motion is approved. Next item on the agenda is the ratification of the company's audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2024. I understand that the audited financial statements have been distributed with the information statement disclosed in the PSE Edge and posted in CREC's website.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I am Stephen C., proxy for Stockholders CPI. I move that CREC's financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2024, as audited by Isla Lipana & Co. be approved.
Mr. Chairman, I am Jed Espiritu, proxy for stockholder Lalaine Rosales, and I second the motion.
There is a motion duly made and seconded for the approval of the audited financial statements of CREC for the year ended December 31, 2024. Ms. Secretary, may we know the voting results on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, based on the votes cast, 100% of the stockholders present in person or by proxy are in approval of this agenda item.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the election of the directors.
Mr. Chairman, CREC's Remuneration and Human Capital Committee has submitted the final list of 7 nominees found to be qualified for election as members of the Board of Directors of CREC.
Please state the names of the nominees, Ms. Secretary.
The nominees are Mr. Edgar B. Saavedra as Director, Mr. Oliver Y. Tan as Director, Mr. Manuel Louis B. Ferrer as Director, Ms. Abigail Joan R. Cosico as Director, Mr. Leonilo G. Coronel as Independent Director, Mr. Afiro Luis B. Amato as Independent Director, and Mr. Roy A. Simatu as Independent Director. The foregoing list includes 3 nominees found to be qualified for election as independent directors in compliance with the requirements of the relevant laws, rules, and regulations for publicly listed companies.
Mr. Chairman, I am Jed Espiritu, proxy for stockholder Lalaine Rosales. Since there are 7 nominees for the 7 board seats to be filled up, I move that the 7 nominees be deemed elected as directors for the ensuing year.
Mr. Chairman, I am Stephen C., proxy for Stockholders CPI, and I second the motion.
There is a motion duly made and seconded for the election of the nominees mentioned as the members of the Board of Directors. Ms. Secretary, please tell us the voting results on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, the results of the election of the members of the Board of Directors are being flashed on the screen. All of the stockholders who are present or are being represented in this meeting have approved the election of the 7 nominees as member of the Board of Directors for the ensuing year.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Motion is passed. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of the external auditor. Upon the recommendation of CREC's Audit and Risk Oversight Committee, the Board of Directors proposed that Isla Lipania and Company be appointed as the external auditor.
Mr. Chairman, I am Stephen C., proxy for Stockholders CPI. I move to appoint Isla Lapanya & Co. as the external auditor of CREC.
Mr. Chairman, I am Jed Espiritu, proxy for stockholder Lalaine Rosales, and I second the motion.
There is a motion duly made and seconded for the appointment of Isla Lipana and Company as the external auditor of CREC. Ms. Secretary, may we know the voting results on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, based on the votes cast, 100% of the stockholders present in person or by proxy have approved this agenda item.
The motion is approved. Thank you, Ms. Secretary.
We are now moving on to our question and answer portion. To our audience, please enter your questions in the chat box on the right side of your screens. Questions will be entertained on a first-come, first-served basis. We request everyone to limit your questions to one main question and one follow-up question. Thank you. We received the following questions from the audience. First, congratulations on your 2025 ASM. How much additional installed capacity do you expect to have by the end of 2025? May we request Mr. Tan to answer the question?
Good afternoon. We expect to energize additional total of around 1 gigawatt before the end of 2025.
Another question. Does CREC have a dividend policy? If yes, when can CREC shareholders expect dividends from the company? Mr. Tan?
CREC have a dividend policy. If I recall correctly, it's 25% of prior years, 30% of prior years unappropriated earnings. As to your next question, we are hoping to start declaring dividends by next year.
Thank you, Mr. President. Another question. As a new renewable energy company, what sets CREC apart from its competitors and what market share in renewable energy are you aiming for? Mr. President? Or...
CREC take pride in its vertical integrated business model. We are an RE developer. At the same time, we have an in-house engineering, procurement, and construction arm. Post-energization, we also operate and maintain our plant in-house. This unique vertical integrated business model enables us two significant advantages. One is speed to execution. Second, cost competitiveness. Our market share for the past 3 years, according to Department of Energy, we corner 20% of total solar generated output for the past 3 years. We aim to maintain the same market share, if not increase, upon the energization of almost 1 gigawatt before the end of the year.
Another question for Mr. Tan. Why should I invest in CREC even if I'm already invested in CREIT?
That's a very good question. If you are an investor looking for permanent or stable dividend yield, the more appropriate shares for you would be CREIT, obviously because of how a REIT company is structured. However, if you are the type of investors that's looking for capital gains, CREC will be more appropriate for you. Notwithstanding, you can always invest in the two companies at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the audience, please feel free to type in your questions. We received another question for Mr. President. How much capex does the company earmark for 2025? Can you cite where is this mostly allocated? Thank you.
Total capex for 2025 would roughly be around north of $1 billion. Most of them has already been spent the early parts of the year. This goes to the 1 gigawatt that will be energized before end of the year. The balance will be spent for the second batch or the second gigawatt that we will break ground towards the second half of the year.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have time for some more questions. If you have any questions, kindly type in your questions. The last one for Mr. President, we saw on your website that some of your soon-to-be completed solar plants will be housing a battery energy storage system. Can you share with us how this technology would complement CREC's operating performance?
By complementing battery energy storage system with our solar plant, we're able to expand the delivery of our electricity to cover the night peak, therefore expand our market share and the ability to serve greater number of customers.
Thank you, Mr. President, and that's it for our questions. Please feel free to send in your questions via email, which our team will be glad to respond to. And that wraps up our question and answer portion. Mr. Chairman.
Are there further questions or other matters to be raised?
No further questions or matters, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Thank you. The ASM is hereby adjourned.
And that concludes CREC's 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting. You may view our annual and sustainability report through our website or visit our social media pages. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.